What's up, Peachy Blanco?
She from the Crypto Jeezy crew. If your father had been active in your life, how would Charleston White be different today?
Probably weak like whatever man I had, like every other. Our mothers had us young, so they didn't know how to pick strong men. My daddy, mother died at an early age, so he had mama issues. My daddy saw his white girlfriend get killed, so that kind of fucked him up. So I'm glad my mother didn't have weak men around us. So she'd rather no man be around, because she didn't want us picking up no weak man traits. Man, you know the white man ain't gonna let you do that, nephew. Well, though you better not think about that. Boy, them white folks ain't gonna let you do that. So it's a lot of niggas had them kind of men around. It's a lot of niggas had kind of the men around who groomed them to be perverts, because they were some perverted and did, so my mama shielded me from that. So I got to see men. My mama would drop me off at the barbershop. My granddaddy owned the barbershop. I got to see different kind of men, but to want to have directly impact, my dad would kind of throw it off. So maybe I would have been thrown off based off his mental health problems. So a lot of niggas is violent because they saw these kind of men. I never saw no kind of man to be no kind of man. You see what I'm saying? So now, so I got to see men, but never got to study a man like boys get to study their father. I get to see Uncle Wayne, Uncle Curtis, I get to see Granddaddy, Mama, cousin, Jeffrey, but they coming in passing. So whatever day or two you spend with them, you pick up whatever negative because you're impressed by it based on the culture. So now, I had great men. I had school teachers that I rejected. We had PE coaches, we had science teachers, we had the counselor, we had the juvenile probation officer, we had the juvenile workers. So even though a was delinquent, was crossing paths with good, honorable men, and they was in the family. Just didn't take to Uncle Joe there, because Uncle Wayne was a pimp. And when you cut the TV on, you watching the Mac, you watching Superfly. You don't see looking like Uncle Joe there, that's the executive of Xerox. You seeing Uncle Boosie, he done come from California with the crippin'. So you know what I'm saying? You seeing walking in and say, hey uncle, let me get some, and it's two women in the bed with him. Say, boy, get that dollar off the dresser right there and close the door. And as you close the door, you peeking at some, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just didn't have positive men. What I did, I just didn't know how to embrace them.
You get views for shock value, but when the camera's off, what's the one thing you regret saying you can't take back?
Nothing. I wouldn't have said it. I am not a kid up here talking and don't think about the things that I say. I ain't just up here blurting out. I ain't just up here blurting out. I ain't just up here getting mad and saying. I'm putting a title on her. I got time to think about what I'm saying. By the time I press live, I mean every thing coming out of my mouth, whether I mean it or not. I meant to say it. In character or what? No, man, I don't regret a thing. Some shit I regret not saying. Nah, homie, so because I wanted to come on here and say some of the most egregious things in the world to get people to look at me. And when they say, man, he said he did this. Well, let's Google him. Well, if you Google and really look, then you gonna say, man, that man bullshit, homie. Man, really used to work with kids. So that was the hope. That was the hope. Man, I used to white women. What you mean? Man, this man used to teach human trafficking for the United States Department of Homeland Security Sex Division. First responders every year at Eastfield Police College. How could he have done that? I used to partner with Traffic 911. So I'm saying, okay, I can say that because I ain't never done it. I done killed a white man. I ain't never shot a gun at a white man. Snatched a white woman purse. Well, I lied. Yeah, I did. I shot at 2 white men and got a year of probation for it. But I was just showing out. I ain't try to hit them. I was running, just shooting. All my criminal behavior was a delinquent, a kid That's why I don't have any felony conviction. I was a juvenile delinquent who had delinquent behavior during his adolescent stage of life, when most children get in trouble or start rebelling. From 21 to now, I got small run-ins with the law. Trying to sell a little weed, going to college, small run-ins with the law. I ain't got, up until now, till I got online, these aggravated assaults. People like this, I had. Until I became famous, I had this kind of shit on my record. Had never been jailed. No, so I wish I would've knew how to embrace the good in men, because the culture never showed us that. So as far back as I can remember, when Hollywood started taking advantage of black people, it was called the Black Exploitation era. So I was born during that era. So every image I've ever seen of a black man have never been in a good light. But we didn't know it wasn't in a good light. From Mr. Belvedere up until they started showing us Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was the first black man we known as Dr. Cliff Huxtable that had a family. And you know what I'm saying? Other than that, it was Sanford and Son. Mean James Evans. George Jefferson, you know what I'm saying? So we had, George was the only we seen. And George was a like me. Talk back to white folks, call white folks hunkies, mistreat the white dough man, argue with Archie Bunker, any mistreat Weezy, and they mean in the Weezy. So we ain't never seen, and George wasn't loving. George was a money. So we had never seen a loving husband like Bill Cosby until them 80s. So I grew up in that era. So every man I know to look for was a character that came from a movie like The Mac, Superfly, Dolomite, Penitentiary 1. So that's how I identify life, just like our children do, through movies.